Oh, there we go. YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day. We just finished up 2 long days of concerts. We had yesterday to recover, and we got another one for New Year's Day tomorrow. So we're gonna get our snatches in. Well, we're feeling pretty solid today, but we're coming off a rough weekend. But if gas isn't there, I think we have a strong reason why that gas isn't there. But the whoop score, I think the whoop score would be pretty solid today. I actually slept pretty well the last 2 nights, and I'm feeling ready to rip. So we're gonna hit some snatches, we're gonna hit some bench, we're gonna hit some upper body stuff today. We'll see how much accessories I show. It's pretty busy here. It's in that like New Year's kind of pack and grind. I don't know if you can hear the background noise, but it's pretty loud here, pretty packed here. So we're for sure gonna get the snatches on camera, for sure get the benches on camera, and then talk about some leadership styles and thoughts on strength or technique and what route you should take there when you're trying to learn a skill. So let's get after it, let's go. All right, we're just gonna start off with a full complex here. We're gonna go snatch, jump, shrug, into a full snatch from the ground, touch and go, into a hang clean, into a hang snatch from there, and then into a couple overhead squats. Just open it up here, feeling good. Let's rip. Oof. Almost lost the shin. Let's keep warming up, let's go. We are dragging a little bit of ass, and by a little bit, a lot of ass today. We are delaying, we are all sorts of out funk. We need to add some heavy weight to this bar and get after it. Make something out of today, let's go. Oof. 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 Let's go. All right, one more little warm-up session here, and then we'll get after it. Let's go. All right, let's start snatching. Let's go. Right before I got here, I just finished up with a baseball group of high school kids. It's like 20-ish baseball kids. They don't know me. I don't know them. It's not Yoakum Strength affiliated. I know the guy that runs the baseball side of things. I kind of just take care of some of their training. But we have a couple pains in the asses, and it's making me realize that I will never go back to non-Yoakum Strength training again, because my goodness, it is impossible to work with people that think they have the answers regardless of all the statistics in front of them. It's like you have these 125-pound kids that are throwing 70 miles an hour on their best day, pretending like they know the answers. But anyways, regardless of all that rant, we had a kid today on a PT program because he needs to strengthen his wrist to get his exit velo up, allegedly. It's what his chiro or physical therapist told him. I have no idea. The dude, again, is 130 pounds and throws 70 miles an hour. It's like there's no special wrist exercise that is going to get you better, man. You just need to go train for 2 years. I was watching him do this PT program. Again, I don't know him. He doesn't know me that well. And in the 2 hours that group of kids that was working with me, we hex bar deadlifted, we threw, we jumped, we got some bench press in, we got some shoulder press, and we got some chin ups in. He did a couple sets of wrist curls, a couple set of hammer curls, and a couple set of mace rotations as his entire workout. Like, that was what he did for the 2 hours. It's just like, I'm like, dude, you're wasting so much time. And it's probably a little message for if you're working with clients remote, especially high school, middle school clients that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, you have to make sure you know what the fuck you're doing. Like, that is not a training session. That is nothing that's gonna make them throw harder, throw faster. And I think it's really one of the dangers of this like scarcity mindset of when coaches and PTs and chiros get scared of losing a client, they just sell them whatever they need to sell them, which is, I have a special program, I have a special wrist exercises you need to do to get better. What if you really had that kid's best interest in mind? You would put a stake in front of him and put a hex bar deadlift in front of him and tell him to get to work. And it's just infuriating watching these kids waste time that they do not have to recover from. Again, it's like the freshman, sophomore kind of years of high school that are like primed for developing athletic ability, and they're wasting it on these special things because some chiro, some PT sold their parents or sold this kid on this exercise. It's like, man, unless you are a 1%er of a 1%er, and if you're not sure if you are, you're not, because you will know. you need to just grind, you need to get after work, and there's no special exercises and there's no shortcuts. And the faster you realize that, the faster somebody tells you that truth, the faster you stop looking for that shortcut, the faster you can actually get to the shortcut, which is just working hard, which is just throwing the baseball, which is just lifting. Again, if you look in the mirror and you don't look like a physical absolute specimen, you're not far enough along to be worried about those things just yet, right? Like there needs to be some data point that tells you need to look deeper. Throwing 70 miles an hour is not that data point. And if you're a high school kid that doesn't have like 700 Division I offers, you don't have those data points. Start looking for the magic answer, right? You just need to look for a answer, a solid answer, which is hard work and consistency showing up in the weight room. It was just kind of, I don't know, it was frustrating working with the kid. Not so much because the kid, it's because of the information that kid was sold and the bullshit that kid was sold, and there's no way you're gonna break through as somebody just as an outside person. And obviously over time you can work with that kid and be able to help him and get him on the right path. It's just frustrating to like what people do for money and not really understanding the impact that has on that kid for long term. Whereas this kid spends the next 6 months working on his wrist exercises, where his peers are working on athletic development, they're gonna absolutely surpass him. He's gonna have to make up for that, and it's all because somebody wanted to make money. I just think it's gross. All right, let's get to some snatches. We're gonna work with some straps today. I kind of like them on the hands. Let's see if I like them from the floor. Let's go. Oof. Oof. Let's go. I kind of like those touch and go reps, so we'll keep doing those until we get bodied. Probably this set and another one, and then we'll get to singies and get after some bench after that. Let's go. Ew. Gross. That is not it. Ew. For the love of God, let's pray that was a bad set and we got more juice in the tank today. Otherwise, it's gonna be a sloppy snatch day. Feeling like trash, but that's worse than trash. That's garbage. Let's go. That's better. Oof. There we go. Oh, come on. Last one. Get the bar up there. Oh, sloppy. All right. Gotta get the singies. That touch and go is sloppy. Let's go. All right, let's get on to some singies because we are dragging absolute butt cheeks today. And hopefully turn this into something at least respectable. Let's go. Fucking Christ, dude. Man. I'm fucking battling with myself right now. Come on, dude. Lock the fuck in. Oof. Let's go. Battling with everything in the body to not let that little inner bitch win and cut today's video and cut today's lift. So even if it's shit, we're gonna battle through. We're gonna make something out of these snatches. And bench will always be good. Bench is a good fucking day always, but we gotta turn something into these snatches. Let's go. Fucking A, dude. We are hot garbage right now. Oh! That is all we are gonna get out of myself today. We gotta go bench. That was so sloppy. I feel lightheaded. I felt actually kind of clean on the technique, but the actual pull part, everything just feels disgusting. So I gotta recover from the concert a little bit more. Let's go bench, get out of here. This is gross. While we emotionally recover from what that snatch session was, and we wait for a bench press to open up because this entire place is booked, I wanna talk about technique versus strength. Will Rattel just made a post on this, talking about how he favors strength over technique, and it's something I definitely agree with. And one thing I just wanna add to his point that I don't feel like is talked enough about in the strength conditioning field is the pursuit of strength typically leads to the development of technique. Whereas a lot of times the development and the focus on technique and the neuroticism that surrounds technique, it's not to say that the technique in and of itself couldn't lead to a lot of strength gains. I've seen that before, but I just think the approach around technique, where technique is everything, so you can't have strength or you can't add strength to technique, you can't do them together when you approach it in the technique sense, is a flawed kind of way to approach training. Because if you approach it with the strength sense first, trying to get stronger and trying to move weight, eventually you're going to have to develop more technique, and it kind of forces you to develop more technique as you're going forward. So when you approach it in the strength sense, it develops technique as you go, otherwise you hit a roadblock. Whereas if you approach in the technique, you could perfect the technique as much as you want at 25 pounds on the bar, and you never actually go higher than that. Something you can use with like kind of all things, whether it's sprinting, whether it's swing, something I see with a lot with exit velos, like when you're hitting roadblocks with your exit velo, when you're hitting roadblocks with your strength, with your speed training, when you're hitting roadblocks with the strength training, eventually technique is going to matter, and you're not going to know that until you hit that roadblock, until you stop making progress on your pursuit of perfection, when you stop making your progress on pursuit. If your goal is to snatch 300 pounds, eventually you're going to have to clean up your snatch form enough to get to 300 pounds. If you want to sprint really fast, eventually you're going to have to clean up your sprint form enough to get faster, to run a faster number, to allow yourself to express the outputs that you have. And the same with the swing. You can have all the outputs in the world, but if you're bleeding a lot on the swings, eventually you're going to have to fix that technique aspect. So although it sounds like the meathead way of doing it, starting with the strength forces the technique to rise. And while it may look sloppier at the beginning, if you want to get to where you want to get to, you're going to have both of these things. And I believe starting with strength encourages and motivates athletes a lot better than starting with the technical aspect, because I think a lot of times with the technical aspect, you can get super neurotic about it and have nothing to back it up. And the baseball world is probably the worst with this. Perfecting your swing when you're 120 pounds and have a 70 exit velo is not going to do you any good. You can be as pretty as you want with your swing. You still don't have enough juice to have it matter. Because if you had juiced yourself up and actually got strong, when you start swinging, you're going to perfect that swing regardless. And the same with snatches, same with squats, same with sprinting, right? Like eventually you're going to have that technical component. It's not that the technical component's not important. It very much is. It very much matters. But you can do both things at once if you start with this, whereas I feel like a lot of times when you start with the technical aspect, you don't do both things at once. You don't get the strength stimulus done while you're perfecting the technique because you're too neurotic about the technique. So kind of my thought process there. I love Will's post and Will's approach to it. Kind of want to add that 2 cents. So hopefully a bench press opened up. Let's go bench press. Let's go. All right, we're just going to build up to a 1 rep max here. Drop catch bench. Haven't done drop catch in a while. Just going to rip those. Let's see how high we can get it. Let's go. Set number 2, let's go. Oh yeah, titties are gonna be popping today. Let's go. The chesticle pump you get from this fast eccentric, unmatched. Let's go. Drop it to single so we can speed this process up. Let's go. Almost slipped out of my hand there, a little sloppy. Let's go. All right, let's bench something, let's go. Come on. Let's go. All right, gonna have to turn up for this set. Let's go, come on, get it, don't be a bitch. Ooh, titties are sore, let's go. Oh, sloppy. That left titty is sore. Let's try for 315, see what happens. Oh, come on, you dumb bitch. Just made a post that you either bench 315 or you come up with a reason to find why you don't need to bench 315. You become smart enough, you find a reason why bench press isn't functional, and we're gonna be in that 315 gang today. Let's go. Don't be a bitch. Oh, there we go. Sloppy. But we did it. My left titty feels like it's gonna snap in half. Let's hit a bunch of tricep pushdowns, curls, chest machines. Probably won't show those on camera because we have 1% on the camera. So rip all those, then say goodbye after. Let's get it. All right, so we just finished up with 8 sets of 5 triceps, 8 sets of 5 low rows, and then a 2-minute overhead iso. Pretty quick ripper, purify the elbow, get a little pumper, and make something out of today. Today was a pretty pitiful session. Hit the 205 on the snatch, which is decent, but last week we had 225 from that hang snatch position. Was expecting something better today, but again, had a tough weekend at the concerts. And just mentally, just was not locked in. I had no motivation to lift. It was such a little bitch day. That little bitch voice was winning all day today, man. We just had to turn it into a work day. It wasn't gonna be a PR day, it was gonna be a work day. So we got after that, got some work in, got a little pump in. I'm feeling swole right now, feeling good. I'm ready to get after it tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we have a little bit more juice. Then we'll definitely be taking Wednesday off with the concert, the New Year's Eve concert on Tuesday. Cascading Sullivan King, and there will be some plants medicine used at these concerts. Feel the vibes and vibrations. Speaking of plant medicine, when we were having a conversation this past weekend, the influence of some plant medicine, we were talking about leadership styles, and we have this athlete at our gym that has had a powerful impact on multiple high-level athletes at our gym, guys with big Instagram followings, guys that are leaders in their community. And he is a guy with no Instagram, no real leadership roles in the sense of like bestowed upon him. He's not an influencer, he's not a boss, he doesn't own a business, yet he has people like that looking at him constantly, and he is able to change those people's minds and help those people through life. We're kind of getting under discussion on like, how does he do such a good job of influencing people and planting the seed? It really got us into a conversation about leadership styles and how we feel like a lot of people fall into these leadership roles of kind of only helping people that think exactly the way that they think. I think this is the start of a lot of people's leadership journey. They help the people that are very much like them, and they feel like they have the power to help. But what you quickly find out as a leader is most people are not like you, and you're not able to help everybody in the same way that you can help yourself. And the next step in that leadership role, adapting your message to meet people where they're at. And that's the thing that we were kind of talking back and forth about, is if your message matters enough and you believe that it has a powerful impact on people's lives, you should be comfortable and secure enough in that message to be able to fold it in any way, to get it planted in people's heads, to be able to help them. And I think a lot of times that when young leaders come into a role, they have this message that helped them so much in their lives that they feel like it's the only message, it's the only way to do things. And they call everybody else dumbasses and call everybody else idiots. And I've for sure been there, especially in my college football days. I was definitely I definitely put myself into that box in that college football role. Like the rah-rah, you have to always be getting after it at all times. And everybody that didn't, regardless of stats, regardless on data points, was wrong. And it was just such a silly way, especially when like you had people that were better than you doing it. And you see this in a lot of young leaders where it's like people are ahead of you and you still think you're right. And part of that ignorance and part of that faith in your message is part of the journey. Like I do believe you need that. I do believe that not everybody's message is for everybody. And if your message is for everybody, then your message is probably for nobody. But if your message is only for a select people and all of those people are exactly you, it's probably not a message. It's probably much more of an echo chamber, much more of you just speaking to mini-me's of yourself. And that's not a really rewarding or effective way to lead, especially if your message does matter. So for any of the young leaders listening to message, and I feel like it's a lot of young people that are watching these videos, it was based off comments and people that have talked to me, the core behind your message needs to stay the same. But how you deliver that message can change in a variety of ways. And if your core actually matters and your core is actually powerful enough to help people in their lives, and you know that, you need to be all right and confident enough to be able to adapt that message and get that message out there to people and meet people where they're at. Otherwise, you're just going to push them away. And that's phase 2 of leadership, and the second step in a lot of young leaders' leadership journeys. Honestly, I feel like it's a step that a lot of leaders that make it to the next step just do organically, and a lot of leaders that don't make it to the next step just fall off on it. And there's never really a talk about why that happens. And I think a lot of times it's because one group is running their head against the wall and the other group is just allowing their message to open up and be the message that it needs to be. So just some thoughts from this weekend. Gonna get after it tomorrow. Let's go. Appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood.